Radical generosity. We're moving into 2013, hard to believe, isn't it? We're thinking about what God's calling us to do. We're thinking about the birth of Jesus, this beautiful painting here in Francis Chapel. I mean, God's radical generosity. He didn't give us what was convenient or easy, but He totally entered into our life. And so we just want to think about how we totally enter into God's life, become part of what God's about, become like God, being radically generous. I talk a lot about your need to give, and we do need to give. It helps us to grow closer to God. Also think about things going on in our church, some exciting things coming up next year. Let me share with you a few things. So hey, I'm here on the organ with Jimmy Jones, and I have a question for you. Looking into next year, can you teach me to play the organ?
I think it would take more than a year to do that.
I was afraid of that. The music is incredible. We just love it. It inspires us every Sunday, but it's got to cost money. I mean, just the music. What does it cost for a given Sunday, just the music that we have?
Well, when the chancel choir sings, normally we have to purchase about 80 copies of the music. About $2 a piece for each piece of music, and so an average anthem, one anthem on Sunday, is around $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's more than an anthem on a Sunday, so hundreds of dollars.
Sure.
It's worth it because it's so inspiring. It's a wonderful thing. Tell me some big plans you have for next year.
Well, next year we have a couple of premieres that are going to take place. We have a handbell premiere. We have a new chancel choir anthem premiere. Chancel choir is representing Myers Park in England next year.
Wow.
Multiple concerts with Charlotte Symphony. We're starting plans for a concert series. The Steep Canyon Rangers, who's a pretty famous bluegrass group, is doing a concert here. So
Amazing.
Lots of fun things planned.
Amazing. All right. Well, we're looking forward to next year. And Christmas is coming. I'm going to just audition right here. Oh, I hit some bad notes. Yeah, it needs some work.
We'll work on that.
So we have descended into the underworld, into the bowels of the church. I'm down here in the boiler room with Ron Klontz, who makes our facilities run just so wonderful. Ron, what is that hole right there? Tell what that is.
That's the old coal chute where we used to have to actually shovel coal into the boiler.
Not we.
No, well, actually that was somebody who had to do it.
Decades ago, Sunday morning, somebody would have a shovel. We've come a long way since then. We have all kinds of electronic controls and everything. And I can tell you, Ron Klontz, he is our hero because he has economized on so many things. He finds the most efficient lights and controls. There's some surge thing we're working on now. Talk about that.
The surge protector, we're looking at replacing the HVAC controls to better enhance the way we can turn up systems off, air conditioning systems, boiler systems, so we can save energy that way.
And that cuts down on our bills. And say, Ron's a frugal guy, and we like that. What's the utility bill for this building for a year?
For actually the entire facility is a little over $200,000 a year.
Oh my gosh. And then maintenance and all above that, it gets over like $500,000.
Yes.
We have it's not pretty down here. But this supports a really beautiful building that we all treasure. And this is part of what we do with our budget money coming into the next year. We should give thanks to Ron, but also be ready to give generously because we want this building to keep running wonderfully as it does now. So we're here in Francis Chapel with Aaron Bell. And Aaron, thinking into next year, you're giving us leadership in starting a new worship service, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that, who it's for, why we're doing that.
We want to start a new worship service that's going to reach people who aren't being currently reached by the worship services that we are offering already. People who maybe are looking for something a little more casual, a little more young, a little more alternative, maybe a little hip. Can we do hip?
People might be kind of turned off by church as is.
Maybe people who feel ostracized or cast out by the churches that their parents or grandparents took them to as kids.
It sounds great. Sounds like the kind of thing we really ought to be doing. So maybe in God's eyes, maybe our most important financial commitment next year is going to be what we do outside our own building, reaching out. And one of our great partners in this is over here at South Tryon Community Church, where I am. I'm with their new pastor. She's been here 6 months now, Tiffany Thomas. Tiffany, welcome. We're so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Every week I hear great things that you were doing. I'm just so excited about your ministry here. Tell us some great things that God is doing here at South Tryon.
Sure. Let's see. Beginning with when I first arrived, the children were getting ready to go back to school. And so we had a book bag drive that the church has been doing for several years now, but we were able to serve an exponential amount of children. We served about around 400 kids that we gave book bags to. And
Cool.
it's really exciting to see that many kids in the area. And children this year has really been our focus. We started a children's Bible study on Wednesdays, and so we feed them and we teach them about the Bible. And we started off with 2 kids, and we were really concerned about the future of it. But last week we saw 52 children, and
Wow.
so it was a lot.
Praise
but
God.
we had a really great time. Let's see.
What about grown-ups? You have wives?
Grown-ups, yeah,
things
no,
changed?
absolutely.
Tell.
So we have a meal that's also in conjunction with Myers Park, Trinity's Table.
Right. Thursday, I've been over for that.
Yes, and so we're subtly, it's always been a meal, but we're subtly turning it into a worship service. I think about it as my second worship service, and we are turning it, so there's a time of preaching and there's a time of testimony while they're eating. And to watch these people who used to just come to eat, as they come and they form this community around the table, it's really what Christianity is about. It's my favorite time of the week. And so
I was here one Thursday. She started preaching at lunch. She was in flames. It was so cool. Tiffany, thank you for the great work that you were doing here. This is the kind of thing that we're able to make happen. It's really wonderful.
absolutely.
I know we all get weary from the pressures that we face during these difficult days. And so I hesitate to ask you, can you do more? Can you do as much as possible? Yeah, but we're going to send you this card. And it's to estimate how much you're given next year. You can give more if you're able, but it's just the work of God's church is more important now than ever because these are hard times. I think of Jesus' great love for us. I want to give in a way that makes sense given what Jesus has done for me. And I hope you'll join me in that in this season of radical generosity.